episode on Two Puerto Ricans and a Black Girl. Today's Girl Talk is a continuation of where we left off with the 5 love languages. But today it's about, should love lead to marriage? I'm the Dope Widow.
And I am the Love Guru.
And I'm Mimi, the Lifestyle Diva, and welcome to this episode.
Welcome.
Before we get started, I'm going to go off a little off track. You guys look beautiful, and Love Guru, you look beautiful.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
Popping. Wait a minute, the nails is going with the lips and the thick?
Oh, yes.
It's popping. So you don't always start with a question, but today's topic is a question. So I'll just jump right in there. Whoever want to take the floor first, do you think that love should lead to marriage, and why or why not?
Well, I'm going to jump in.
Okay.
In my opinion, I don't think that love always leads to marriage, or that it should lead to marriage. In some relationships, you fall in love with people and you love them, but maybe both of you come to a decision that marriage is not for either of you. And I think in today's society, maybe back then, it was a little bit more taboo that you were with a man or living with a man and you didn't get married. But I think in the day and age that we live in, I don't think that you always have to be married. I think it's okay for you to, if that's what both of you agree on and you're both comfortable with that, I don't think that you should force someone to be married just because you're in love. I know several people who live together and have been together for more than like 8-9 years. They have children together. They're buying their first home together. And you know what? That relationship of just living together and not being married, it works for them. And sometimes that works for people. And I think that if that is what works for you and that is what works for him, then I think it's okay that you guys don't get married. Not to say that marriage is not a wonderful thing, because I was married and it was amazing.
Right.
But sometimes that's your preference. You just choose not to get married, and that doesn't take away from the love, the respect, the trust that you have for each other as a couple. But it just it doesn't work for you, or that's not what you want. You just like the fact that you guys are together and you're still building. A lot of people too also see it as it's just a paper. I don't see it that way. I see it more as your connection, the love that you have for each other, the commitment that's there, the respect that you have for each other. All of those things go into marriage, and I take marriage very seriously. So that's not my take on it. But I don't think that you necessarily have to be married just because you love someone.
Okay. So for me,
I'm like waiting to see what you're gonna say.
I know when really thinking about it and thinking about this topic, it made me think about the people in my past who I loved. And it made me think of, wow, I thought I loved them. If love should lead to marriage, then I possibly would have been married to these individuals, or these individuals might not have existed. And I was like, wow, can I have been married to Lucifer? I was like, I don't think so.
Oh no.
Yes, so the first one is, and yeah. And I was thinking, wow, these individuals, I cannot imagine me really being married to them. And so it made me pose my own question, which is, what is love? What is love?
It's funny you say that, because I asked the same question. I have it on my paper.
It made me think of that, because because I didn't see myself marrying your first love, and I put it in quotes because what do we know about love when it's our first love? And so I wrote down, do you know what love really is? Um, I believe it's just emotions. Your body, it's hormones changing. You're liking somebody. It's a whole bunch of emotions that you don't have a hold on, and you interpret it as love. And sometimes it's, and thinking back, I was like, wow, was it love, or was it an infatuation, or was it an obsession? Like, you don't know. You don't really know what love is when you're 14, 15, 16, 17. But you throw away that word so loosely. Could I have married that person who I thought I was so in love with and broke so many rules over when I think back? And the answer is, oh, hell to the no. I am so happy that I loved and I lead to marriage with that individual.
I agree. I agree with what both of you guys said. Love, cheers to that. I think love is a process. So that's why I don't think it at that young age it could possibly lead to marriage. Like I wouldn't even put that should love to lead to marriage in anything like when I was in my early 20s or something like that, because I still haven't gone through the stages. You know, I think love is being vulnerable. I think love is taking risks. I think it's upliftment of each other. And do we have the life experience at those young ages to even say that we're able to get in front of someone and say I do to these things? I think when you get married, honestly, I've never been married, but just from the experience of people that I know that have been married, I think being married uplifts your commitment level. I don't care what, like, you could be so in love with somebody, but when you say I do, for some reason, I just see that people are more like, it seems to be like people are more like the level of commitment just goes up a little bit. Still not saying that you have to get married, you know, if that's not your choice as an adult. You don't want to get married, you made that decision that this is what the road that y'all want to take. Y'all just want to be in a committed relationship, you know. But I think that is a beautiful thing to say you want to be with somebody and say I do to them, and to death do you part. If you really just sit there and listen to how heavy those words are, to death do you part, and you're giving you handing your life over to someone else, putting your life in their hands and saying death do you part with them, I think that's beautiful. But does it have to lead to that? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But like you said, do we really know what love is? And I'm glad that you both posed that question, because I remember myself at 21, you know, and at 21, well, let me go back, at probably 19, 20, where I thought that I was really in love with this individual. And I probably would have given my life to this person because I thought that I was in love. And I was blinded by what he was doing for me, you know, how he treated me because he wanted to get other things from me, whether it be, you know, cooking, cleaning, sex. He did certain things in order to make me feel wanted or make me feel seen, so that I in turn did these things for him. When in reality, when we weren't together, he was out, you know, with other girls. So imagine me at that age thinking that I was in love with this guy, and imagine me marrying him, you know? Imagine the life that I would have lived, you know, if I would have married him. So it's funny that you guys pose that question, like, what is love? Do we really know what love is at that age? And I was 19, 20. I wasn't 14, 15, where I at least knew a little bit. But did I have many life experiences? No, this was my first love. So, you know, I thought I was grown. I thought I was an adult. But in reality, like, I really had no experience. I didn't know that that really wasn't love, you know? So I'm grateful that I didn't make the mistake, like Gigi mentions, of marrying that person, because, you know, God knows where I would have been and what my relationship would have been like and what I would have had to endure because I was married. And because I come from a home that where my mother always stressed how marriage is very important, and how we respect our husbands and how, you know, we are supposed to be as a wife. I've always mentioned that, you know, my mother came from way back when, you know, you always stay with your husband. You try to make your marriage work no matter what. So I think of it now as we're discussing this topic, and I probably would have been in a miserable marriage because I probably would have followed what my mother told me. You know, stay in your marriage, honor your husband, try to fix it, try to work it out. So I probably would have still been there, you know, if I would have made that mistake, because it would have been a mistake.
Right.
Wow. And that's good. And that's the mistake that, well, I want to say it's a mistake, but sometimes when you're young in these relationships and you think you're in love, again, we just stated, you're not really in love. It's just emotions all over the place. You don't know what's happening because you don't know what love is. And some people actually turn out to be high school sweethearts, but it's not that they were really in love. You just grow to know each other. You evolve, you mature, and then you're like, okay, I think I love this person, and you start doing the proper, loving each other properly, because as teens, you can't love each other properly. Even in your young 20s, sometimes you don't know, even though you've experienced a little bit, sometimes you still don't know because you're still getting to know who you are as an individual. And so, do you really love somebody? Do you really, really love somebody in the sense of the word love? So I have another, do you have a question?
No. I was going to say, I think that you can know love when you're younger. I just think that I don't know if we're going to say about marriage in love. I don't know if it should equal that at that space of time period when you're in love, because I think there's different levels to love and stages. Like you got you know, A, B, C, where it matures. Love matures, you know, and you know how that you have the ability to adapt to. Okay, they feeling this way today. I know how to handle this. They're doing this. I know how to, you know. When you in a baby love, you don't know how to navigate through emotions yet. Exactly. So you know that's what I'm thinking. Like at a younger woman, I just think you should spend some time being in love with the person and going through, you know, some before you say you commit to marriage. Like I said, I think marriage is beautiful. You know, I hope one day that it does happen to me. If it doesn't, I mean, that's fine too. Whatever I say, you know, whatever's good for my lifestyle. But yeah, I just think it's different stages to the love process.
I was gonna say, Gigi and I, we talk about this. We've talked about it several times. And it's, I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna say it properly, but I just think that we talk about that, you know, at the age that we are. You know, right now we've experienced so many things that right now we know what we want. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So when Gigi was talking, like it just came to me like, why can't we fall in love like when we're older? And it's crazy for me to even say that, but when we're this age, we know what we want. Yeah. Like we know what we're looking for. Like, why do we have to deal with all of that extra? But I know that it's part of life, and that's what makes us know right now what it is that we want, because we can decipher what we don't want out of, because we've had all those past relationships. But wouldn't it be wonderful that, you know, we know ourselves, we've spent this time with ourselves, we've grown, you know, we love who we are, and now we're at this space and time where we know, like, this is the type of man that I'm looking for. Like, I'm praying for a successful man. I'm praying for a handsome man. I'm praying for a stable man. I'm praying for a man that has no children. Whatever it is that we're praying for. But because we're at this age, like, I don't know if I could say if this is correct, but like love would be so much better.
It would be.
I totally get the sentiment of what you're saying, and if you could just jump and have this this experience that we have now, and had already gone through all those processes. Yes. But then on the other side of the coin, it's like you wouldn't know if you would
exactly
those things now if you didn't have that experience. Exactly. But yeah, I totally get the sentiment. No,
yeah. I know. That's why I said, like, we wouldn't even be here to know ourselves, to love ourselves, if we didn't go through those bumps and bruises along the way.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's why I said, like, I know this is not going to kind of make sense, but just thinking out loud, like, wow, like, it would be so great because I know what kind of man I'm looking for. And if that's not the one that comes along, then, I'm going to move on until God sends me the man that I've prayed for and that I want,
Right.
Just a thought.
No, it was a sweet thought. I like it.
So here's my question for you guys.
Wait.
Double clear of the throat. Let's see.
Not the double clear.
That's double clear. This topic really had me thinking about, again, what is really love, right? And should all love lead to marriage, which is our question. But my question is, do you really have multiple loves in your life? Or is your soulmate your real true love? So again, do you really have multiple loves? Can you really just love? When you think about what love is, do you really love the people you have been with in your life, right? Or is the person who is your soulmate your real love? Think about that.
I would love to hear, I hate to just like push this question back off on you guys. I would love to hear what you guys constitute as a soulmate. Like, it's a soulmate, somebody who, when you meet them, this is instantaneous, like, eruption of the sky, and you guys, you always have butterflies every time you see this person. What constitute a soulmate?
You gonna answer? You want me to answer?
Go ahead, Gigi.
Go ahead.
So for me, this question's difficult question.
It is.
But when I was sitting here and I was thinking, and I was looking at, thinking about what a soulmate is, for me, it's really in tune with God, and God clearly telling me this is the person. Like, when you are, how can I start it? Not me searching for an individual, but me minding my business. Yes, God, you tell me I'm gonna move on, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, boom, you send me this individual. I don't think this is the person. And we're building. For me, a soulmate is someone that you get to build a foundation with, not just, and we talked about just dating because the lust is there, you just date or whatever. For me, that's not a soulmate, because you find somebody attractive, and a soulmate for me is not someone that, how can I put it? It's not something that happens along the way. For me, a soulmate is that instantaneous feeling that you're like, God, this is the person that you send me. Like, this is everything. For me, that's what a soulmate is. Not, we date, yeah, I like you, you cute. Okay, here's my number. We go out. Oh, I think this person might be a soul. No, for me, that soulmate is when your spirit does something the minute you see this person. Your spirit does something that it calls you and tells you, this is the person that God has chosen for you. This is what I've been thinking about while we're doing this topic right here.
And so that would mean that spark, that energy, that spiritual connection would have to go both ways then, right? Because you can't just say it's your soulmate and then this person doesn't feel it in their soul either. And when you said that soulmate, I think if you don't have a connection, if you're not plugged into God, then you're not going to feel the connection. So you're not going to hear his answer. Exactly. That this is your soul, the soulmate.
But you're right, Michelle, because it does go both ways. Like, if God puts it together, then that other person has to feel that same energy that you feel. It doesn't necessarily have to be at the same time. I don't think it's like Cupid hits me, hits you, and then, right? But there's something along the way that if God speaks to your heart first, whichever person God speaks to first, I think eventually God is going to do something to the other person, or to you if you're that other person, that makes you sit back and say, wait a minute, there's something different about this person. God, is this the person that you've called for me? But as a friendship, not after you've had sex, not after you've done. I mean, when it's completely platonic and you're friends and you're building and you're getting to know somebody, I feel like along the way, somewhere your energies connect. Somewhere along the line, something that God speaks to both of you. I mean, that's my own personal thingamajiggy about that one.
Yeah, I'm stuck on that. Like I can't comment right now. I'm just stuck on that.
You know, I want to go back to the you, because you had a double question in there. So you were saying that the loves that we had were those true loves. You know, when you went through the earlier loves, I think they were. I think that they were true loves. Like I mean, you know, those puppy loves and all those kind of things. I mean, that was what it was. I'm not that stuff. But like when we started getting in our 20s and stuff like that, we love somebody. Those were genuine loves. It was just the fact that, was this the person who you were supposed to end up with for the rest of your life?
Yes.
You know, probably not. Because I always think you need to go through some life. You need to get that dirt under your fingernails. You need to, and then on the other hand, it happens where you meet somebody in your 20s and you stay with them. You know, so every situation is unique to each person, but more times than less, you know, you need to go through a process of stages of love.
I agree with you. I think that yeah, those relationships where they lasted maybe a year or 2 years, I think, yeah, those were true love relationships. Like Mimi stated, they probably weren't that soulmate love because obviously we didn't stay with them, but did we fall in love? Absolutely. Absolutely. There was something about that person that we loved when we first got with them. We enjoyed their company. I mean, or else we wouldn't have stayed as long as we did in the relationship. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. That wasn't the person that we were supposed to be for a lifetime, you know, and that's where we gain our experience, you know,
Right.
to then know who we are, what we want, who we want, and what we deserve, you know. But did we fall in love? Yes, I think they were true loves.
So do you guys, I'm a little devil's advocate today. So do you guys, in my head, I kind of, and I never thought this before, just now reading this book and just doing a little research. Do you guys separate true love from soulmate, or is true love your soulmate? Doesn't mean that you didn't love and you weren't in love. But do you think true love is your soulmate? Or true love could be the many times that you've loved?
I think
True.
them both is, I didn't talk on the topic of soulmate just because I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know yet. I can't touch that yet. But I think I put those in two separate categories. I think true love is just true love. Those people that we love that, you know, like what do we define true love as? Like just somebody that you loved, is that true love? Or because that's another question. Like what is true love? If you want to,
another question for you later.
yeah, if you want to like differentiate the two, we have to define what true love is. But for me, I put them in two separate categories. True love, yes, is for me those loves that, you know, I did love along the way, but my soulmate is someone so special. My soulmate is someone so different. My soulmate is everything. My soulmate is me. I am my soulmate as he is me. Like that's when I think of a soulmate, like we have a crazy connection. Like
Right.
like, you know, when they say, you know, you with your best friend and you're with your best friend all the time, like you see her and I see you and vice versa, that you could finish each other's sentences. You know what you're thinking before you think it. You know with a look what you both are thinking. Like when I think of a soulmate, I think of that. Like we're so connected that we know each other, that we're one. That's what I mean. Like we're so.
I mean, but so and that I'm glad you ended that with that we are one. Because isn't that what marriage is? When you marry somebody, you become, one person.
Yes.
I think being in love with somebody and just having little loves along the way, because you can have something where you love something about somebody, if we're going to be superficial about some things, like, oh, I love this person knows how to make love really good, or they know how to wine and dine really good. They know how to do this really good. But when you really fall in love with somebody, it's because they know how to love you. They know how to be in tune with you. They know how to love your children. If you have children, they know, that's being in love. I mean, love, you could be in love. I'm in love with a damn pair of shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hello.
so it's that part of it. But, when you get to that love, when you want to say, I do, when you want to say, I love you through sickness and health, when you want to say till death do you part, when you want to say all these kinds of things, you're talking about that next level love. You know what I'm saying? And it's not in, I don't think that comes along so often. That's why when people get married so much, I find, I don't want to say I frown my nose to it, because who am I? But I just don't, I question the genuineness of it. When you can get married so many times, when that is so heavy. You know what I'm saying? Like getting married.
Yeah.
You really committing your whole person, your whole being, your whole life. You are putting in somebody else's hands and saying, I trust you here. You can have have all of me. Like that's very, and for you just to keep constantly getting married. I mean, I don't understand that.
I think it loses the meaning, just like I said, you know, we talked about the other day about the I love you, I love you, I love you. Every time you call, you hang up, I love you, I love you, I love you. For me, it loses its the sentiment behind the I love you. Just like, people having numerous husbands or numerous wives, like it loses the meaning. Like, is it really love? Yes, or you just want to be married?
But that's what I mean by,
you just want somebody by your side. It's not, the marriage doesn't even, the word married don't even mean that. You just need to have that company there. You need to know that somebody's there.
Exactly.
And that's why the topic is perfect. Should love lead to marriage? That's why I say it doesn't always have to lead to marriage.
Yes. And that's why it's like that true love. You can't marry a true love. If you can't be married 5 times, then that's your true love. I'll give you 2. But I can't give you 3, 4, 5, 6,
I mean, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, D. It just becomes like I said, I mean, we're not here to play judge and jury.
No, not at all. Because reasons.
This is what we do. This is my opinion. This is our point of view. Mm-hmm. I just feel that step is so beautiful. It's so strong. It's so connected. It's lives being intertwined with each other. Like, how you just taking that so lightly and keep getting married over and over and over and over again? I mean, I don't know. It takes away from the I can't even think of the word.
Yeah, as I said, it takes away from the value. It takes away from
it depletes. Yeah.
Like, from the meaning behind marriage. It takes it all away when there's numerous marriages, and like you said, we're no one, because I'm no one to judge anybody, to each his own. But for me, it takes away the value of marriage.
There are some people just need that validation from that companion. They just need to feel somebody in their presence. And a lot of people just get married because they don't want to be alone. Mm-hmm. And you have to be comfortable in your own skin so that when that next person comes around, you make a sound decision and just don't jump. because you don't want to be by yourself.
Like we always say, I think this needs to be like a mantra of ours. Like
Yes.
we always say that you got to take that time to self-reflect. Because if you're with somebody for 2-3 years, you guys break up, you're by yourself for a second, then you with somebody the next 3 months, you guys are together for a few years, you guys break up. When do you ever have, and you get with somebody else right after that too, how can you say that you're going to love somebody through sickness and health and all these heavy things that come along with being married, through when they getting on your damn nerves, from when they farting and doing all kind of shit that's doing, you know what I'm saying? How can you say you're going to love somebody through all that when you don't even know how to love yourself and be at peace with your own self? How can you be at peace with somebody else's BS or problems or stuff that they bring, the baggage that they bring along? You know what I'm saying? And you don't even know how to be at one with yourself.
I agree.
When you get married, it's not, I hate when people say they get married, we 50-50. No, you better come into the relationship a whole person, just like me. 100%, and we coming together as two whole people. Don't be coming over here taking half of my energy away from me. Be whole when you come into this marriage. Yeah.
That's very true. I used to think that way too, that whole 50-50 thing, but no, you definitely have to be complete. You have to know who you are, because if you don't know who you are and you're not complete, you can't fulfill this relationship. The relationship is going to be empty. If you're empty, what you're going to pour into me, into my love tank? You can put nothing in my love tank if your love tank is empty.
Right.
You don't know who you are, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
So, ladies.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you think? So what is the purpose of marriage then? So we say all love shouldn't just lead to marriage, but obviously you have to love the person to be married. So what's the purpose of marriage? If it's not just love, what's the whole purpose that should lead to marriage?
The whole purpose that should lead to marriage.
Oh, what is the purpose of marriage in your head? When you think of marriage,
I mean, I think it's all the things that we just said. I think it's an individual thing, but I do think it's definitely a purpose to marriage, because marriage brings, from what I've seen from the marriages that have been rocky, from the marriages that have been beautiful. I mean, all marriages go through ups and downs. It's not if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen. I think it's beautiful to say that, it's somebody there who is going to be your backbone, who is going to, I mean, you have girlfriends and stuff that's going to do that, but it's nothing like a husband or somebody who you're intimate with, who you share pillow talk with, who, to say that, y'all going to become one. I think it's I just think that the fact that you can love somebody so heavy and so deep to say that you want to become one person with this person, because that's what being married is being one person. So I think the purpose of it is so that you guys can get together and be this strong one person that lives a life of love, commitment, and support. That's just to a level that's you can't even really explain.
So can I read something? It's exactly what you were saying. It says marriage is God's answer for humanity's deepest need. Union of life with another. Just like, Adam and Eve were, created one from the other. They become one flesh, is what you've been saying, Michelle, is that you are that unity, that one. And sometimes in marriage, people think they're selfish. How are you selfish in a marriage? You have to think about that, the fact that you're one. No, this is not just my money, Now, and I used to think like that, like I have my bank account, we have ours. But no, now in my next phase of my life, we are one. And so whatever is mine is yours, and whatever is yours is mine, and we're gonna be one entity. I need to take a zip. What's going on?
That's a strong comment right there.
Right. You know why
yours is mine, or whatever's mine is mine.
You know why I needed to take a sip right there? Because I think, like, as much as I say that we one person, I don't think you should lose your individualism.
No, you should not.
but that's it. But that goes into saying about the I think that you guys should definitely have an account that's together, and you should have your own account as well.
Just in case.
No, not just in case.
I know,
You should have your own account because
I agree.
it's like, you want to do things and you don't want to have to be like, oh, I'm taking this money out, because when you have a joint account and your money comes out, I need to know why that money came out. But when it's in my account, I'm going to buy me a pair of shoes because that's what I want. So everybody, you should have that joint husband and wife account, and then you should have your own account.
I agree.
So here's another thing. It states that marriage is designed to be the most intimate of all human relationships. The husband and the wife, and these are the things that when you go into a marriage, the whole purpose of marriage, you're going to share things, share life intellectually, emotionally, socially, physically, and spiritually. And this is what's going to allow you to actually become one. I mean, this is according to, to the 5 love languages. So he breaks it down into the different unities of why you get married. Like, love is not enough. We have to be able to connect somehow intellectually. Like, I have to be able to converse with you. I have to be able to not to just laugh and, and talk nonsense, but I need to be able to speak to you about worldly issues, concerns, have a serious conversation, not without me saying, oh, he really don't know anything, what's going on. Our intellects have to match. You have to be you can't be like a brain, because I'm gonna feel like, but you have to be like compatible intellectually as well. I went to college. I feel that you should have something behind you as well. Is it a make it or break it deal? No, but I would like that, so that we have something in common.
We should be able to have some type of substantial conversation, not just BS conversation all the time. Like, that gets redundant now. Like, all you're talking about is music and sports,
or the TV show.
Yes, or the TV shows, or the new video, or did you see this on Instagram? But you have no substantial conversation. Like, I don't know. I agree with you. Like, intellectually, we have to be able to have a conversation, and not just all the time talking about us and just complaining about things. And that's not conversation for me. Yes, I know relationships aren't always the best, and yes, there's probably going to be things that I do that get on your nerves, and you're going to be doing things also that get on my nerves, but that shouldn't be the extent of our everyday conversation. Exactly. Oh, you did this and this bothers me. Oh, you did that and that bothers me. Like, every single day. And then when you think about it, you sit and think about it on, like, let's say that's Monday through Wednesday. You sit to think about it on Wednesday night. You be like, damn, it's 2 days. And we really haven't talked about anything. All we talk about is the shit he does that gets on my nerves and the shit that I do that gets on his nerves. Right. Like, are we really compatible? Do we really have things to talk about? Or if this like a skeleton relationship, because there's no meat here.
That's why I think we're actually answering our question as we're going along. Is love enough? Because because you can love somebody because you think they have great sex, they know how to make love to you properly, they know how, then or you can love them because they have great conversation with you, or when you guys go out, you guys like the same museums, or you can shop together good. But all of those things to be in a marriage, in a committed relation, have to be together. You can't just have separate things. That's why you have certain friends that you do that with. That's what that's for. You know what I'm saying? But your husband, your soulmate, they need to be encompassing of all of that.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So what do you girls think about? I'm like Mimi today with the questions. So social unity is something that's also mentioned. Do we have to have the same social interests in order to be as part of your marriage? So let's say if I like to once a month go out to a little lounge, have a little glass of wine with you. That doesn't really happen, but just to go out once in a while. But this person likes to be home all day long. They don't really have any social interests or like to interact. do you think that that's a reason why you shouldn't be married to this person if you don't share social interests?
And they don't even like to do that with you, or is it just like they don't like to do it at all? I mean, they don't like to do, like, they don't do it with, they don't have friends that they do that with, or, and they don't do it with you either?
They don't like it at all. They don't really like their homebody. They don't really like to just go out and just have a good time once in a blue moon and be social. Not necessarily social media, because everyone doesn't need that, but
Right.
just be social, be friendly, be social. Doesn't mind going out with a few friends once in a blue moon, even on their own or with us, or have company over. Would that be a reason for you not to marry? Because, you know, they have to have everything for this love to lead to marriage.
Yeah, but I don't think that they have to do that. Like, if that's not their scene, I don't think that that's a deal breaker for me.
Mm-hmm.
They may not like to go out to a lounge, and they may not like to go out to listen to music or things like that. But you did mention, like, have people come over. You know, I think that's something that we could work on, because we definitely are going to have mutual friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, you know, having people over and entertaining is part of that social aspect of the relationship. You know, not every man is a hangout type of guy.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't think that's a deal breaker.
I think that's one of the things that,
We could,
I'm sorry, Jackie.
I think we could just balance it out.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's a little like, right, balance it out. I think, although I say, you know, we need to be, you need to have more your interests be to be the same. But that right there, sometimes that you balance each other out. Like somebody is this way and the other person is like this, and you know, it just makes the scale even.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So is that it's not lopsided. Because if everybody likes to go out and do this, when do we get some damn rest? You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to just go out and party. But I think it's a good balance when you have somebody that's not such a social butterfly, then the other person is more. Because I mean, I think I spread kind of evenly. Like I like to go out, but not all the time.
Yeah.
Like I do like to go out to listen to some music. Definitely go out to hang out with my girlfriend, have a good time at somebody's house, you know, and but yeah, and have people come over if they like that and they can support me in that. Like if they're not like, when I want to go out with my girlfriends, like, oh, it's a problem. No, I don't want you to do that. I just want you to stay at home with me. Then that's not cool. But you know, to be able to say, okay, you know, I'm going to go out with my girlfriends. You know, I'll be back in a little while. And they're like, okay, go ahead and enjoy yourself. And that, you know, yeah, it's no problem if they're not the type of person who always likes to go out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
what's next? I'm waiting for another question.
For the next question.
I got the questions wrong. I have them rolling. So, emotional unity. So before I even get into that, because everything I've given you have the word unity, is there a difference between being united, because as a marriage you are united, right? Mm-hmm. And unity. So before I even move any further, is there a difference between being united and unity?
Being united and unity. I think there is a difference.
Okay.
I think there is a difference because for me, being united is just being together.
Okay. Okay.
But when you're in unity with someone, like I said, I am him and he is me. We are one.
Yeah.
It gets no deeper than that. Like, we're just one person. When we're in unity, like, everything is just flows, everything connects, everything is easy. Not to say that it's always going to be easy, but when you have that real sense of unity with your partner, it's easy.
It is.
It really just flows, because you know what? He gets you and you get him, because you are in unity, not just united. You're not just a couple. You're not just a husband and wife. No, you're one person.
Right. I really feel like if more marriages and more committed function under that umbrella of being one, like thinking the same, moving the same,
Can I
doing
ask
the
you? I'm
same.
sorry, Mimi.
No,
Can I?
go ahead, sweetie. Yeah.
I just want to ask a question. Do you think, and I'm moving away from marriage for a minute, do you think that as boyfriend and girlfriend, you should be in unity or united?
I think that you should be united at first and be moving to towards unity if you're saying that this is somebody who you want to grow with. Like if this is just about somebody who you're kicking it with, then what you're not going to invest that type of emotion or energy to say that I'm going to be start being in unity with this person. But if you start saying, okay, this is somebody who I'll see myself with, then y'all should definitely start. It should just be a natural occurrence that y'all should be in unity with. So yeah, I think you can be in unity with a boyfriend or girlfriend.
Is there a time period? Like, do you first, like you say, okay, in 3 years maybe we should be moving towards unity, or in 5 years time I feel like, or I don't know, do you think it just should happen natural? I feel that it should just happen natural. Not that someone is forcing you and saying, oh, it's been 4 years and this is where we should be.
Yeah, because that's not going to work. When you force somebody's hand, especially a man, I'm not a man, but I know enough men, and I can't speak for them, but I've talked to enough of them. Like, you cannot force somebody's hand to be in a relationship that you want them to be in. That has to happen organically, and it can't be forced.
You can't. There isn't a time period. I do believe, however, that when you are of a certain age, things kind of move a little faster because you already have a sense of where you want to go. And although it's not something you're like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to be one. No, I think things happen organically a lot faster than if you're younger and dating. Because in our heads, we already know we're dating with a purpose. Sometimes when you're dating when you're a little younger, you may think you're dating with a purpose, but might not. You might just trying to have fun or getting to know a person. But I do believe that it's something that's supposed to just happen. I do believe it's something, but I think it does happen a lot faster when you're older because we know what we want when we're older.
And I think that when you're older too, I mean, I'm going to speak for myself, and I know you ladies going to chime in. You should be dating with a purpose. Like, what is the goal here when you're dating? Like, I'm not gonna, when I start dating somebody, when I start dating again, I'm not gonna sit at the table when I go out my first date and be like, listen, I need to be married no. But I know in my head what I have for myself, what I want, what I'm expecting.
Mm-hmm.
If the connection doesn't, if it doesn't start, going that way, we're speaking boldly and honestly about what we want. Like, I don't have time for the cheating. I don't have time for any of the games, not at this age, because this go round right here, we need to be putting some periods at the end of some sentences.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay. That was a good question.
It was.
All right, so I'm just going to throw these out.
I have a question after you said, but say what you got to say first, because it's something that we were talking about yesterday. We were together at the Love Foods. We had some delicious food. It was awesome. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to go?
You can go with yours.
Okay.
That's fine.
So, one of our good sister friends of the group, we were discussing if you can be in a marriage with someone and not live in the same house with them.
You already know. I'm gonna go first. Just
wait. Let me just throw this out there. This is not for the faint at heart or for the immature. This is for grown folk here. So go.
My answer is no.
Okay.
Because I love quality time. My boo has to be in the house with me.
Mm-hmm.
Just has to be with me. just can't be in separate household. No, I need that one, like unity under the same roof.
Now, I'm going to say this from speaking from the woman who I am now and in the space that I'm in now. I'm going to say that yes, I could do that.
Oh, I need a sip.
But but I'm going to put this out there because things can change when you really meet somebody who you desire to be around all the time. Like I'm saying that now that yes, I could, but I could meet the person who I know that this is the person who God, because I'm connected to the Lord. So I know if he sends me that person who I'm saying, and I'm gonna be like, I don't know if I don't want to be with him, but I know that right now, as I stand, the woman that stands before you right now, I'm saying that yes, I could do that, and yes, I could be in a long distance relationship. But I need it to have meat and potatoes and substance. So when we see each other, when we talk to each other, everything is meaningful and has a purpose. Like we can't be playing no games with a situation like that. If we're supposed to be meet for dinner and do certain things, we have to stick to those things. But that's how I feel about that right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we looking at you.
that was a funny topic that we discussed yesterday briefly.
Right.
And I definitely jumped in and said, yes, I could do that. But I'm also going to say this. I do want my person to live under the same roof with me.
Mm-hmm.
I do. But I could definitely see the living in separate households. I could see it. You know why? Because I'm living alone for a little while and I'm really enjoying being in my own space. So sometimes, you know what, I don't, and I've said this before on here, I don't want anyone in my space, and that may be selfish of me, but I like me, and I like my time, and I like being quiet. And I've said it again, like I don't like all the talking. I do it here because we have to, and I do it as an educator because that's my career. But in reality, I'm quiet all day long. Like I love being in my own silence. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't make me uncomfortable. Sometimes it does get a little lonely, but for the most part, I enjoy my time. But do I want my significant other, my husband, to live with me? Yes, absolutely. But right now, I'm okay with that kind of setup.
I think that's why you need to have, even if you're married, you need to have your own space in your home.
You do.
Like it needs to be it needs to be a space where you can have refuge for self.
Yes.
Like how men have man caves and she caves. Like those, I mean, that sounds cliche, but those spaces,
you need that
proper. Yeah. You need those spaces, and and don't come in there and raid my space when I'm in my she cave or when he's in his man cave. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might want to go in every now and then and steal a little kiss. I mean, just get out. Like let him play little Fortnite. Let him do whatever he's doing in there. Look at his little game or whatever it is. They need that time, and we need our time as well. But like I said, I'm speaking from where I'm at right now. That yes, I could do it, but I don't know how I would feel if somebody who I know for sure this is the person who I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with, if I'm going to be like, wow, this person is not here in the home with me, day in and day out.
But you know what, Michelle, when that person comes along, you automatically know.
Right.
You automatically know.
There's not a question in your mind that is the person that you're supposed to be with. You automatically know, you feel it, he feels it. For me, and with that being said, I'm going to say this. For me, and why I say that I could flow with that setup right now is because the person that is supposed to be in my life needs to bring me the ultimate peace, because that's all I pray for. That God gives me or sends me someone that is going to be my peace. Like, because, there's so much turmoil out there in your career, in our daily lives, with our children, with our parents, with, so many different things that when I come home to that man, he needs to be my peace from the freaking outside world, from the shit
Right.
that I dealt with all day. No,
Right.
he needs to be my comfort. He needs to be, where I can, if I need to cry, he needs to be that shoulder. He just needs to be my peace. I can't say it any other way. That word is so big in my prayer life, and that's what I want. And until I don't have that, I don't know. I don't know what's going to be of me and, relationships, but until I don't have that person that brings me ultimate peace, I don't know.
I agree with you 100% on that. Like, there's enough distraction and noise and negativity going on in the outside. When you come home, you shouldn't be arguing and fussing and fighting and cussing and carrying on with the person who, you love. That needs to be just a time of wusa and good spirits and good energy. You leave all that outside the door. When you come home, you want that to be your tranquility, your zen time.
Yes.
When you out and you just like, you want to be like, damn, I can't wait to see him. Like, I can't wait to be in his arms. I can't wait to smell him. I can't wait just to walk in the door and he's laying in bed, or he's cooking in the kitchen, or he's just watching TV. Like, that's what I want, that I know that I'm coming home to my peace. That
I think this is so silly, but I'll see if you ladies agree. I think that you kind of sort of, that this person is the person who you love, and it's like your soulmate. Like, this is just a silly little thing, but I don't care for how many years you guys have been together. When you see this person, you still get butterflies in your stomach.
Yeah. Or
Like,
when you kiss them after so many years, and you kiss that intimate kiss, and you just feel like, oh, like it's home.
Yeah.
Like
it's just right.
Yeah.
Like, how can you've been with somebody for all of these years, and they still, when you see them, you already left the house and you come back and you see them later, you're like, oh, he got. Or when you out with your girlfriends and they come in, you're like, oh, here come my boo. But we didn't get you to answer the question about we already know your answer, but did you answer?
She was first.
Oh yeah, that's right.
She was like, no, she needs that quality time. That you'll be on.
Oh, God. I already knew that, but I'm okay. Yes. Hell no.
I have my man hemmed up.
Right.
No.
Trust me, I love that. I love it too. I do love it. Trust me, I do. But right now, in this where I am, like Mimi said, in the space that I am,
It depends
I need that peace.
Yeah.
And that's what that's my search right now, for that peace. I didn't have it for many years, and I'm not settling.
And I think that's what messes up for. That's why you're gonna be so awesome in that next phase, because you took that time to have that peace with self. Like, when you don't take that time to do it, I mean, it's a bunch. We made up of energy. So you just, you have all these energies from all these people who you've been seeing from life is taken away from you. You're getting depleted by this. You're getting depleted by your kids. You need to fill yourself up and make sure that you are able to sustain a relationship, because it's work. It's not all roses and petals and smell good.
Oh no,
got an emotional unity. It's emotions of how you're being treated, how you're being loved, how you're being talked to.
But I think we both need to be on the same page. Like, he needs to be on that same chapter and page with you.
Right.
You can't be on chapter 2 and he's on chapter 10. Like, it's not gonna mesh. Because he's so way ahead of you, or he's so way behind. He hasn't even opened the book, and you halfway through the book. So, I mean, if you guys are not on the same chapter, on the same page, like, it's never going to work, because he's always thinking, you know what, this is what I want you to do, and this is what you need to do. And if you don't listen, you're not loving me the right way. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. Like, you guys have to be able to converse. You need to, agree on certain things, and you're not always going to agree. So you also have to learn that you're going to disagree at sometimes, but You also have to remember that even though you disagree, you have to respect each other's opinions, respect each other's thought process, respect what each other wants, and not be so condescending and demanding about certain things, because we are not each other's children. We are partners. We're equal. You're not my father and I'm not your mother. You know, we should be talking to each other as partners, respectful. And I'm the first one to say I'm not always respectful. My mouth is lethal. My mouth is. It is. I give a good tongue lashing. Like, and I'm trying to work on it, but I'm not always, you know, so successful at it. But if he's being condescending and he's being rude, let me tell you, I'm giving it back. And I'm going to give it back to you 10 times worse than you giving it to me. You know, that's not always the right attitude to have, and that's not always the right way to be. But I just can't, I can't function when somebody thinks that, you know, they're always right. And, you know, you got to listen to me. Like, you're my father. Like, who the hell are you?
Right.
Like, you didn't contribute to my creation at all. So why do you think that you have the right to tell me, oh, you don't listen to me, or you don't, like, get out of here with that. No, I can't. That's what I'm saying. I need my peace. And if that's what I'm gonna be, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Oh, Jackie, I love you. You just always make me get on. I can't wait till we have this topic on submission, because it just always leads to that. What you said about that, I just love. But the acknowledgement is half the battle of what you said. That you can give a good tongue lashing. It's nothing more. Some people need to be lashed sometimes, but it's knowing that sometimes that everything doesn't deserve a response. Sometimes you just need to just walk away from certain things and just let it be. And that's good. That you know.
I'm working on it. Like I say, I'm not successful all the time, because that really takes a lot, especially, you know, I've talked about me being impulsive, you know, so it does take a lot, you know, when people, you know, are disrespectful or condescending or whatever. It takes a lot for me to say, stop. They don't need your energy. You don't have to give them that energy. Just let them speak, let them say whatever. It's hard though, but you know, like you said, sometimes no response is the best response.
And don't get me wrong, like when I say, like when somebody's being condescending and disrespectful, you need to sometimes definitely address that and address it head on, because people could have a tendency to think that they can just keep doing these things because you never say anything. When I say that everything doesn't need a response, it's like, you know, when people say certain things, that's the going back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes you need to let them fester in you not answering them. Like, that's an answer in itself when you don't respond to certain things. Well, I'm not going to even, when the yelling, you just said something that was, you know, was off the cuff, that what you just said to me, and I didn't even respond to you. But be sure that I'm coming back to respond to you. But I'm just going to let you dwell in that silence for a minute. They're thinking like, damn, she didn't say anything to what I just said. You look like a complete asshole right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, and it's just different ways, like life. It just allows you to take time to know how to maneuver around certain situations, maneuver around certain people. It's certain things that you would do with certain people that you wouldn't do with the others. So,
yeah.
You look very inquisitive over there, Gigi.
No,
Yes. I'm sorry, Gigi. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think that we made a lot of valid points, and everybody, you know, gave good feedback on this topic. It was a lot to think about.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we can talk about this forever, but I think we did, you know, talked about a lot this evening. How you girls feel?
I think so as well.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot.
I think so.
And like you said, a lot of valid points, things that I wasn't thinking about. Gigi actually posed amazing questions this evening, that gave me, you know, had me thinking about things that I didn't even think about before we started, you know. So, yeah, the questions were great. We all contributed to the topic. So yeah, I think we had a great girl talk this evening.
So when's our next show? What's the next?
September 17th at 7:30.
On where? Two Puerto Ricans and a Black Girl. We've been on point lately. I'm laughing. Yes, it's the harmonies. See you next week. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in. Mwah.
Mwah.
I guess I gotta do more too.